MacVoices at CES 2025. ShowStoppers. From CES and ShowStoppers in Las Vegas, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Folks, last year we had a great time talking to Jeff about Clicks, because Clicks had just come out and it caused a bit of a stir, Jeff. And I'm so glad to see you back, because it means that all those naysayers were wrong. You know, that keyboards are actually a legitimate thing on iPhones.
Keyboards are back. It's good to see you too. I remember our conversation like it was yesterday, and yet it's been the shortest and longest year of my life, right? But no, it's interesting. There was a lot of really interesting tech that got introduced at CES last year, and a lot of it's fizzled out, and we're just starting to hit our stride with Clicks. So it's been amazing to see the response from the Apple community around bringing Clicks to the iPhone.
Well, last year, as I've said, it kind of caused a stir, and there was a big kerfuffle over, oh my God, we got away from keyboards with the BlackBerry, and now you're bringing one back. And then I think people got their hands on it and said, there's a definite place for this in the world today.
What's interesting is, this time last year, we had a product, we had a vision, we had a dream, we had a team, but what we didn't have yet were customers. And now here we are a year later, we've shipped over 80,000 keyboards, and we now know what people love about it. And what they love is that it takes everything that they love about their iPhone and makes it even better, right? You get more of your screen real estate. You can use the keyboard to actually interact with all your Apple shortcuts and launch apps or trigger workflows. And what we hear from customers is that it actually allows them to use their iPhone in all sorts of new ways. They're not having to wait to get back to their desk to do some of the tasks that they would normally wait to do on a keyboard. They can just do it on the go. And so it's kind of changing how they use their smartphone on a day-to-day basis.
So I have to ask, given all the controversy last year, were you surprised at this, that there was finally the uptake? It just took a little while for people to discover how useful it was?
I'm not surprised by the response, because we were reading all the tea leaves. We were getting all the signals to say that there was a market for this. What I am surprised by is who's buying it. So, we knew that there was an underserved market of former keyboard users, like BlackBerry users, Palm Trio users, but 45% of the people who are buying this is their first ever keyboard phone. So they are native iPhone users. They grew up on touchscreens. And they're looking at this not as a relic, a blast from the past, but as something completely new.
That's really interesting, because I would have thought just the opposite.
I know, it kind of surprised us too. But when we look at who's buying, it's a mix of CEOs and students, right? Like, there's CEOs, students, authors, artists. We've got some of the Fortune 100 CEOs that are using Clicks. Clicks showed up on American Idol with Meghan Trainor, and we get stories from students that are like, I just take my iPhone to class now with a Clicks, and I don't even bother breaking out my iPad or my laptop to take notes. So it's really a very diverse group of people who are gravitating towards it.
So do you still find people using it in a thumb typing kind of fashion?
Absolutely. This is definitely a thumb typing keyboard. It's not a 10-finger keyboard or anything like that. What we found is that for most people, it takes them kind of like 2 days to wrap their head around the muscle memory of kind of how it works. And then within the first, I'd say 5 days, they really get proficient at it, and they feel confident and competent with it, and they're typing 50, 60 words a minute.
50 or 60 words a minute. That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, there's one customer we got a video from that was doing 94 words a minute. I mean, we compete a lot. We're not competitive. Of course we're competitive. I think I've broken 80 once or twice. Typically I'm around like 70 to 72. It's just like breathing now.
Well, when the iPhone first came out, we all had to get used to that thumb typing, and it took a little while, but we got there. We may not be super fast, but there is something about a tactile keyboard that makes it probably a little bit easier, because you're just not sure exactly what you're hitting. Here you've got that feel of what you're hitting.
Yeah, I would say the proposition of Clicks isn't about raw speed. It's about speed and tactility together, and that allows you to type when you're on the move. It allows you to type without looking, right? And so it's more about facilitating a different use case and like having more of that kind of touch typing muscle memory. The other interesting thing, Chuck, that we didn't expect was the feedback from the community with accessibility needs. So we've heard from a lot of customers in the blind and low-sighted community that they love Clicks because they're able to use their iPhone in a new way that they can't do with typing on glass. And so, we've built it so that we have those little indentations on the F and J key, just like on a Mac keyboard. So it allows you to kind of find your home row, find your anchor points, and then the tactility of the physical keyboard allows people with those accessibility needs to type more confidently.
And that makes perfect sense, and it's certainly a lot better than getting a Bluetooth keyboard that you have to then carry around and unfold and try to make sure that it's paired and all that.
And pair and charge and worry about Bluetooth lag and all of those other things.
Right.
Yeah.
What other changes have you made since last year? Because
oh my gosh.
I know. Give us the high point.
Yeah, I'll give you like the top ones. I think that one of the biggest ones is adding MagSafe built in. So we got a lot of feedback that was critically important. Another thing is we added a USB-C data pass-through mode, so you can use it with CarPlay or your computer, for example. We added brushed metal keys. We totally redesigned the actual key surfaces to make them more ergonomically comfortable, and that allowed us to make the keys both bigger and also increase the target for your typing. And then I think the final thing I'll mention that I'm really excited about is we figured out a way to use the keyboard to activate your Apple shortcuts. So if you're an Apple shortcuts user, whether it's to open applications or run workflows or place calls, any shortcut that you create in the Apple Shortcuts app, you can map to a key and just, push a button to open Instagram, push a button to open Amazon, push a button to FaceTime a friend. So it really becomes like a remote control for your smartphone.
So you built that into the device.
Well, we figured out how to tie into Apple Shortcuts and the accessibility settings within iOS. And then what we've done within our own application is pre-built a whole bunch of our favorite shortcuts so that you can just click and add them to your own Shortcuts app in one tap, removing a lot of that friction that exists around learning how to use the Shortcuts app.
So I have to tell you, I'm really impressed by the data pass-through for CarPlay, because so many device makers, I think, they get so focused on how they want you to use your iPhone, and they forget that you're using your iPhone in a lot of different ways. And so this means that I don't have to peel the thing off and put it back on.
Yeah.
I can just use it as my iPhone.
Totally. And that was one of those things that we actually had to do some pretty clever engineering, because the way that the USB-C system architecture is set up for accessories, it kind of forces you to choose between whether you want to prioritize data or prioritize power for charging. So our implementation of that USB-C data pass-through mode is a combination of hardware and software that allows you to do it. So the way that it works is you press the 1, 2, 3 key and the space bar, and it essentially toggles you into a data mode. Then you can plug in your USB-C accessory, it routes the data through, and then when you want to go back to kind of regular keyboard mode, you just unplug your USB-C thing and it just goes back.
That's great. I really applaud you for that, because again, I love so many of the devices we've seen here, but they're taking away function over here to give me function here.
Right.
And this is not it.
Well, I appreciate that. That's great feedback. I mean, we want to try to, we talked about this last year. This isn't about turning an iPhone into a BlackBerry. It's about taking the things that people love about their Apple products and their iPhone and giving them an even, I don't want to say better, but a different way to fit it into their lives. And so I think supporting things like MagSafe, supporting things like CarPlay, those are kind of no-brainers, because you shouldn't have to compromise how you use your iPhone in order to get this other functionality.
And I think that's what people missed when this was first introduced, that they felt like you were trying to push them into the past. And when we had that conversation, I know I came away with a much better understanding of the philosophy that you were embodying in the product. and now you've taken it a couple steps farther. So that's very cool.
Yeah, that ethos hasn't changed, right? I think we're learning about the use cases that people have for something like this, and I think it's validated all of those hypotheses and further cemented our philosophy. And what we've really come to understand about ourselves and about our customers is that Clicks is for people who just want to take action, right? They're trailblazers. They're people who kind of live by the beat of their own drum and are comfortable with trying something new. And so, we've started to find a lot of those people out in the world, and we're grateful for them.
That's great. In case people don't know about this, the website is?
Clicks.tech.
Perfect. And of course, everything is shipping now. It's going out the door?
Yeah, I mean, last year when we chatted, we supported the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. Now we have support for all of the iPhone 15 models, plus base Pro, Pro Max, all of the 16 models, plus base Pro, Pro Max in a variety of different colors, shipping now, and you can get them in Best Buy.
Oh, very nice.
There you
Very
go.
nice. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Jeff, thank you. It's great to see
My
you
pleasure.
again. Next year right here?
You bet it.
Okay. I think this is the same booth.
Exact same booth.
Exact same booth.
It gave us good luck, so we couldn't mix things up.
There you go. We'll sign up now. We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Folks, more from CES in Las Vegas and ShowStoppers. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.